Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Integrated Life Show. Once again, we are welcoming you to the show. Me, Sagar Mulani, and with me is Bharti Nayak joining again. Thank you, Bharti. It is just because of your willpower that you could make it from Delhi, reached just 2 minutes ago, and that shows your commitment and discipline for the show that you've joined in literally in 2 minutes after reaching home. So kudos to you and welcome aboard. Have a glass of water, take a deep breath, and smile until that I'll engage the audience and keep them fresh. Okay, so while we give Bharti the must required break and the water that she needs, why don't you tell us where are you joining us from? And we have been talking for 22 episodes, starting with A to the alphabet V, where we have discovered different elements that you need to live the integrated life. Now, it's not just one or two things that you need to live an integrated life, but it's a wholesome bunch of elements that everyone needs to integrate in their life and gain happiness, gratitude, and sense of fulfillment. Now, that's exactly what me and Bharti have been doing. Now, why would she run all the way from Delhi, catch a flight just to reach in time for the show and be on the show again? Now, that is grit, perseverance, willpower. But at the same time, she has integrated the show in her life. And that is the reason it does not become as a stressful activity or a burden or a balance between work and life, but it's more of fun, happiness, and sense of fulfillment that she gets out of doing the show. And that is what makes us living the integrated life. So if you have started following us recently, you can always go ahead and check the website, which is www.theintegratedlife.co.in. I can pull the link here and show it to you. While you do that and check out all the earlier episodes, and if you like some of the episodes, share it with your friends and let them know that living an integrated life is possible. Work life balance is a myth. Hi, Bharti, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Sagar, and it is always an exciting moment to be on the show, the Integrated Life Show. And I must say, Sagar, that the reason why we both are so committed to this show and why we are doing all these things is because when we had ideas about doing something together, when we had ideas about doing a show which is meaningful for everybody, there was a very important factor that was playing around, and that was the vision that we have. So, as human beings, we have that vision to serve, to contribute to the society, to bring in some change in people's life meaningfully, so that they have, when they are living with a sense of fulfillment, they are having that happiness, and they have that gratitude in their heart when they're doing. And that's the ultimate purpose, outcome of why we started this show, The Integrated Life. So to take you back, all of you, last episode we spoke about vision, how important the vision is in our life, and it's not only about vision, but it's about, we gave you one very nice, interesting concept called CV. That's chain of vision. So you move from one vision to another, you complete one vision, you fulfill that, and then you move to the next. What is the difference between vision, dream, goals, milestones, and how we can really put forward all these things together to live the integrated life? So that's what we spoke about in the last episode. And to go back to that episode, just log on to World Wide Web, theintegratedlife.co.in, and you will find a very interesting episode on vision. It is important to know it because it's already, we are completed 2 months of 2023. We're entering tomorrow the third month, 1st March. And if we catch up the train now, it is much wiser to do that. So look back to the episode Vision, where not only we have interesting concepts that we have shared, some of the examples and case studies we shared, but also a very important checklist. After watching the episode, if you're scratching your head and say, okay, where should I start from? How would I know what my vision is? There could be n number of questions. So we have covered that all in a PDF, in a checklist form. So you can simply download it and you can go through all the questions to answer that. And that's the link that we have below. And it's a very interesting fact that once we completed the episode of vision, we had so many people who downloaded the PDF, and we got feedback that it is really helping them to align some of the vague ideas that they have, what is vision and how we can take that forward. So go back to that episode and watch the vision that we have shared in the last episode. Over to you, Saga.
Thank you, Bharti. And today, I'm sure all of you would have noticed we are talking about two things: willpower and X factor. The reason why we are talking about two elements together is because they are very much aligned and they are very much connected. When we talk about willpower, that is very, very personal, and that comes from a part of the brain that is also known as prefrontal or prefrontal cortex. Now, that part of the brain not only helps you in making decision, but that also is aligned with self-control and with willpower. And that is the X factor that is aligned within you. So sometimes we have certain skills that are inborn talent. We most of the time ignore it, considering, oh, that's so easy for me. But sometimes that is the X factor. So today we are going to talk about these two things. One, your willpower, because we all know where there's a will, there's a way. We know Bharati was flying today from Delhi. She had a will to join the show. She did. She got the flight. She took the baggage. She ran all the way from airport to home, traveling 2 hours, Bharti.
Yes, 2 hours.
So traveling 2 hours in a flight, taking the baggage, running back home, all by herself. And trust me, it takes a lot of willpower to sit in the chair, smile, and talk again. So that shows the commitment and the willpower that we have. And this is not only me and Bharti that we are talking of willpower. All of us have willpower. The only thing that stops us from not having self control is instant gratification. We have come to an era, we have come to a time zone where instant gratification is must. We do some work, we send an email or we send a picture to a client, we send a note, and we expect an emoji immediately on the WhatsApp, like a thumbs up, a smiley. And if it doesn't come, we feel bad. We start feeling upset. And that is where we start losing self control. So today we are going to talk about two things. The first half of the episode, we will cover willpower, and the second half, we will cover X factor. Now, having said all that, why is willpower so much important, Bharti, to live an integrated life or to even be proactive or have a productive mindset? Why is willpower so important?
So I must share that, Sagar. For the first time, I heard that word willpower when I was a child. So I was around 15, 16 years old, and my grandmother, like granny's, uh, extended family grandmother, she was hospitalized, and she was in a very, very serious condition. And doctors
Okay.
had told all of us that she's at the last stage. If you want to call people, if you want to call her, daughters, sons, you just call them everybody, because you can just meet her and give her the last prayers. And that was the
Mhm.
last stage of her. And we were really worried, we were concerned. I saw all my elders being not very happy with this. And everybody rushed to the hospital, everybody went to meet her. And I also went with my mom, because my mom was also feeling like she was having that bad feeling that, oh, this is the last day. Any moment, any time, um the time will come and she'll be no more. So I went. I saw a lot of uh, the tears and everything. I saw that very emotional situation. I saw her on that bed, hospital bed. I saw her smiling, and I was kind of, it was weird for me to see her smiling, and everybody was in that, in your teary eyes, but she was smiling. And she met everybody. She was not able to speak, but she met everybody. She would blink her eyes and greet everybody. So that entire thing, the entire day, the night went away. Everybody met her. After 2 days, doctor told us that she's doing fine. She's recovering. She's better. And doctor said this is very strange. A person who is on the deathbed, where we have given up all the hope and we can't do anything about it, about the situation or the condition of the body. And here she is getting better and better. And we, of course, were all very happy. And she, after a week, she was absolutely fine. She stood up from the bed, she walked, she said bye to all the doctors and nurses. She came back home in the auto rickshaw, and she was there. And she had dinner, lunch with all of us. And I was zapped. And everybody there were only talking about this one word. She has immense willpower. She has the willpower to come back. And that was the first time I heard this word. And I was like thinking that what is it, this, what that willpower is, that the person can come out of a deathbed. The person can really make the body better in whatever condition it was and can come to life. Now, that point of time, I didn't understand how and why and why. But now, when I look back, I realize that the very, very strong, innate core determination that you have, a very strong, you know, complete laser focused vision that you have, that come what may, no matter whatever people say, however is the condition, I will make it happen. And
Yeah.
that strong feel, that strong grit, however name it, that power is so much strong from within that it makes everything happen. And it is important, the willpower is important, because unless and until you have that strong willpower in you, you can't move the mountains. And I remember Dashrath Manji, who was a laborer, and he moved the mountain, like being an Indian laborer from Gehlor village. Think about it, from Bihar, and he moved the mountain. He was so determined. The only thing, like all kind of hardships and everything that he faced, but the only thing that he was so determined about was, I will create a path. I will cut through this mountain and make it happen for my villagers. Whatever happened with my wife, whatever I faced it, I will not let it happen. I am going to cut through this mountain anyhow. And he did that. However hardships he faced, he did that. That's what the willpower is. So it is important in your life, because that will put up the whole fire in your belly. Another phrase, if you want to put it for willpower, a strong fire in your belly, that will lead you forward. It's like you have that engine, but the engine will not run unless and until it goes into that enormous amount of energy inside you. And that's the willpower, I would name it. Yes, Sagar.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And who doesn't remember Manjees? Because we also had a Bollywood movie made out of it. But what fascinated me in that example or that person's willpower, Bharti, was the numbers. Because being an engineer, it's always the numbers that attract me. I mean, when you talk about a villager who lost his wife just because they could not travel, the distances were crazy numbers. If they had to go around the mountain, it was 40 kilometers. If they cut straight through the mountain, the distance would reduce to just 12 kilometers. It took him 22 years to cut a 360 feet long road, 30 feet wide road, 22 years, and all he had with him was a hammer and a chisel. Now that is willpower. Similarly, I have one more example of Akshay Kumar, again a Bollywood celebrity. I heard an interview where he was talking that he has not tasted Kaju Katli or some of the sweet that he likes for 12 years. Why? Because he does not want to have sugar intake. Now, some people might argue that sugar is good, sugar is bad. All that is fine, but he was talking about processed sugar. Now, that is complete self control. That shows how much self control one has to even leave out some good stuff just because they want mental and physical health for themselves. There was a survey done by American Society of Psychology in 2011 and again in 2018. The numbers went up from 27% to 63% of the respondents, of the people who were interviewed. 63% people showed stress, and the stress was related to nothing else but not able to manage their goals, not able to manage their task, not able to manage the work pressure, or not able to manage a certain routine that they've set for their life, and that makes them stressful. Now, all that is related to self control and willpower to a certain extent. Even the Productivity Council has done a recent survey in 2020, and they say 27% of productivity is affected due to lack of willpower. Now, imagine the numbers that you bring into your life and the impact that willpower has in your life. So, what is willpower? What are we talking about when we talk about willpower? Is it some kind of strength? Is it some kind of a mental stamina that you need, or is it some kind of a psychological behavior that you need? Well, that I will share a very simple example. A very, very simple example. Tom, a British soldier, went for a 24 hours fast with a sellotape on his mouth to fight against a illegal act or something. And he could do only that is because he had a willpower that he can do it. And if I continue to give examples like you gave Manji, Akshay Kumar, and other stuff, we have tons and tons of examples like Cristiano Ronaldo. We all know his self control and his willpower. We all know Priyanka Chopra, the willpower that she went through after going through so much of bullyism and racism around her. Thomas Edison had a willpower to look at everything so positively that even after failing for 999 times, he said, fair enough, I've got one good thing to invent the bulb. Not only that, but even great authors talk about willpower as a strength to achieve everything that you want in life. Even there's a brilliant book that I'm reading currently, The Earned Life by Marshall Goldsmith. He talks about willpower. He talks about, how willpower actually enables and empowers you to achieve what you want. So that, my friend, is a willpower. And to put it in a very simple definition, it's not something that is there within you, which can't be developed, which can't grow. It can definitely grow. It is very simple. It's an act of delayed gratification, or it's the ability of yourself to accept delayed gratification. If you start running and you think that I'll be a runner in one day, sorry, you can't. But if you have a willpower and you keep running for 1 month, 2 months, who knows? After 3 months, you might be running a marathon. You might be also winning it because that will develop your stamina. But that stamina was developed because of your willpower, your determination, and your self control of doing things evidently and regularly. So, this, my friend, is willpower, and that is how it impacts it. Let's understand from Bharti that how, as a proactivity queen or a proactivity coach, she connects willpower to proactive approach or willpower to have a proactive life. Yes, Bharti.
Yeah. So it is like a test of the time when we are in certain crisis, certain very grave situations. We may not know that we have that willpower. We may not know that we have that strong determination to do something or make it happen. We come to know when such situation arise, and we go through that pain, we go through that whole grind of it, and we come out of the whole situation. That's when we come to know. But when we look at business leaders, when we look at entrepreneurs, when we look at these big giants who have really tested the waters and they have become successful. When I say successful, it's not only about money, it's about the growth that they have brought in for all of us. all the people who have been associated with them, the growth factors have been tremendous. When I look at their stories, when I look at their hardships, when I look at their, when I understand their thinking patterns, one thing that comes out common is, one, they have the vision to look at through the life of how they can achieve things, but the vision becomes incomplete if they don't have that strong willpower to put through all the grind to achieve that. So proactively, when you are defining your vision, when you're putting your goals into place, when you are having those milestones, when you're actually crafting your career or your life, or say it is health, or it could be any aspect, any area of your life, when you're crafting that, what is it that you are determined about, and why would you achieve this? So when you have those things together, you pull in that willpower. Now willpower comes with a lot of factors. It comes
Mm-hmm.
with, are you ready for any kind of challenges? Like when Saga mentioned that Akshay Kumar has never tasted a sweet because of the sugar intake. Now, are you determined? Are you really strong enough? Because there might be instances, situations where your nears and dears will come to you and say, here is the sweet that you would want to taste it. But if you're hell bent on your health, that yes, I want to come what may, I want to make it happen and be as fit as I can when I was in my 20s, so that I take this life more successfully and I start contributing in people's life. If I'm really very strong enough to do that, come what may, I will make it happen. And that's how, when you are combining your proactiveness towards what you want to achieve, your vision that you are aiming at, that this is how I want my life to be. And if you are really looking forward to the integrated life that we are speaking about, if you really want to do that, you need to have two things: one, proactive approach, and absolute productive mindset. When you have these two things, you will make it happen. So the willpower will require these two factors playing at the, it's like your operating system. You need to have that operating system for all the softwares and everything to function. And that's how, when you are putting any command, when you're putting any command in your brain or in your heart, it makes it happen. That's how we become more proactive in defining certain aspects, in putting ourselves into certain challenges. And I remember there was another concept which was done by HRD folks. I remember Dr. Akhil Busrai, who mentioned about that. Uh, I don't remember that entire name, but what they used to do is, there was a company, they would have all 100 different 100 people from different backgrounds. They would bring it together, and they will sit and imagine different situations, that if this happens, how are we going to react? If this happens, what will be our steps? If this kind of situation happens, how our company is going to take it forward? And they pen down more than 100 such situations, right from economic crisis to inflation to change in any kind of, say, somewhere some earthquake happened and it has affected say this country's economy. So they had all kind of situations penned down, and they started discussing. So after the discussion, they would put down all this into reports, and they would have those reports actually documented with them. And they did this. So there was an opportunity for this company when the oil and gas and that industry was going down, and this company took advantage, and they approached the country that we can really work wonders here, because we not only predicted certain things could happen, we not only had certain plans, but we had the whole actions ready. And they were able to beat their competitors. They were able to move faster than others, because others took maybe 6 months and this company only took 1 month. And it was only because of their proactive approach. It was only because of the strong willpower that they had, that the directors and the CEOs, they had a strong willpower that we want to take this company ahead. And that's what business leaders and entrepreneurs, they need to bring in this factor when they are putting their companies forward. Yes, Sagar.
True, true. And that's what willpower is all about. It is about discipline, but discipline to succeed. And what Bharti added an element here is about that when you want to have the right planning or you have the right willpower or you want to have the self-control, you need to be aware of why are you doing it. Because if your why is clear, like Simon Sinek says, and if you have the clarity on the purpose of why are you doing it, your willpower will definitely improve. But apart from that, there are other ways where you can improve your willpower, starting with learn to manage stress. Again, linking it to the story that Pati said. They were able to manage stress is because they were well prepared. So, A, you need to manage stress or you need to learn to cope up with stress. And that can come from awareness, it can come with practice. For example, my son started playing chess from the age when he was around 4.5 to 5, but he never had been to any competitions. He had a very strong willpower that I'll win, but he did not have the required practice. So what happened while he was playing the first game, he won. But during the second game, he lost. And when he lost, he was not able to manage stress. What happened? The rest of the games he lost continuously. That is what awareness brings to you. Awareness brings to you the strength that you require, the clarity that you require, and the why that you need to push your willpower to make that decision and take self control to a different level. Second thing is commit to your goal. How many of us have put down resolutions on 31st December or in the first week of January or using the 963 mantra that we have shared in the show? If you don't know what 963 mantra is, write to us and we will share it with you, or go onto the website and it's available free of cost. But you must have put your goals. Today we are 60 days, or to be specific, maybe 58 days because February is just 28 days. So 58 days already done. Are you aligned with your goals? Are you working for your goals, or are your goals already for a toss? Where is the self control? Where is your willpower? Where is your discipline? Is it because of not having the right infrastructure? Is it because of not having the clarity of what you really want to do? Or is it because of just not having the right awareness or the right reason why are you defining those goals? If you have any such lack or any such gaps, reach out to us and we will help you fulfill your goals, or at least define a plan for you so that you can have a strong willpower. Apart from that, practice self-compassion. You can only practice self-compassion when you're confident on yourself and you have clarity. So if you're observing, it starts with clarity, starts with confidence. Clarity gives you confidence. Confidence and clarity together combined with self-compassion will make it your strength and not your weaknesses. Look for surroundings where you have positive people around you, people with strong sense of positivity, people with strong sense of commitment, people with strong sense of, doing it. Avoid procrastinators. Like Bharati always says, you have to be proactive and not procrastinate. So avoid people who procrastinate for whatever reasons they are. Most important is create a routine. I was recently listening to a video which says that you need to create a routine. And that routine, we have heard it from everyone that you need to create a morning routine. What one thing was different in that video is he said you have to create a night routine. It's only then you can create the morning routine. If you don't sleep at night properly, if you don't sit down in the night and write down what are the three main things that you want to do next day morning. I'm only talking about three main things which requires 90, 90, 90 minutes. The remaining of the day is completely free and flexible for what you want to do. You need not do more than three things in a day which require a major task. And trust me, it helps. It improves your productivity not by 1x, 2x, 10x. It actually boosts your productivity by 100x, guaranteed. I have been trying that method for last 22 days now, and it's fabulous. It just works like magic. Similarly, he said you need to also control on your glucose levels, because when you have very low glucose levels, you lack willpower because you lack stamina. And when you have very high glucose levels, you still will lack willpower because you will be drowsy, you will be sleepy because you will be investing a lot of energy in consuming that glucose within your body. So that's more important, creating a routine. Last but not the least is meditate and do exercise. And when you do all that, you will definitely have a good sleep. And remember to be hydrated. That's all from my side to improve your willpower. And when you do all that, you will definitely have a boost of energy and you will have tons of willpower. I'm sure Bharati would be researching while she's on the flight, waiting for boarding. She would be researching for the stories. She would be doing all that. But at the same time, I'm sure she kept herself hydrated. Don't you, Bharati?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so over to you for the next things. How do you think a person can improve their willpower for proactive approach, or if anything that I've missed, you can feel free and add on how they can actually improve their willpower.
No, I think you have really covered all the points, important points that people can go through and they can increase their willpower. Willpower also comes with when you have reminders. So,
Mhm.
when you have your vision, when you have a certain specific goal that you want to achieve, put certain reminders in maybe in a visual form, maybe in your phone, maybe somewhere where even if for a moment you have that slip, you have a reminder where said, yes, this is what I am here for, this is what my goal is, this is what I want to achieve, come what may. And I when I got the chance to speak with my grandmother later, I did not ask her about her willpower or anything of that kind. I simply asked her that, what were you thinking or feeling at that point when everybody was there and they were in teary eyes and you were on the deathbed? What was happening? And she said, I was only focusing on one thing, imagining myself that I am in my house having my dinner with my children, with my husband, and I am living that moment. Now that is a very, very strong reminder. And she was only thinking about it. And she was feeling happy that yes, she's doing this. And maybe that strong reminder kept her that brought that willpower that she required, and the body started working fine. So
Yeah.
you can have those reminders. Otherwise, it will be like when you have your New Year resolutions; they just go by as the as the days go by. Uh, this will also pass by. So if you have that strong willpower, any resolution that you make, any goals that you have, any vision that you have, whatever day that you have decided becomes the day for you. So yes, you
Brilliant.
can go
Bravo.
to that link, World Wide Web, the integratedlife.co.in, and log on to all the episodes that if you have missed, starting from A till W, that we have all the episodes. And yes, we are going to talk about another one in a moment, and that is about X. Let me put it this way: exercise.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Bharati, for adding those things. And that brings us to the second topic of the evening. Fact. I'm sure we all know where people have asked us, what's your X factor? What's that skill that you have? Or what's something that is special about you? And you know what? I'm so sorry to say this, and it's a fact you can always go back and check. The skill that we have, or the ability that we have, which we consider as blessing, is the most neglected one in our lives. Why? Because everything that we have, we don't value it. That's the harsh reality. So sometimes when you have a special skill, that's the most neglected ability in our lives. It's only when others tell us, wow, you can do that. And we say, yeah, I mean, it's just normal. It's normal for you, but it's the X factor that you should realize. And that can only happen when you start observing yourself, when you start talking to people, when you maybe get a coach to identify what are your skill set, what are your strengths, what is your X factor. But I'm sure when it comes for X factor, we get reminded of certain names, right? Like Dhirubhai Ambani. Now, Dhirubhai Ambani had two sons, Mukesh and Anil. One is successful, one is not very successful. Reason? Did they both have different environment? Did they both have different education? Or did they both have a different X factor? Now, that is a differentiator between you and others. And that's why we hear it from others and we hear it every time. Everyone is special. You are special. So never think that you're not enough. Never feel that you're not enough. Identify your X factor. Understand what your X factor is and work on that X factor. Strengthen that X factor. And you never know. You can be the next billionaire. You can be the next biggest coach. You can be the next biggest musician, painter, artist, author, anything. Find your X factor. And that's what we're going to talk about now for the next half of the session. What is your X factor and how does it help you to live the integrated life? Over to you, Bharti.
So let's first break the perception or the myth that is attached with the X factor. Generally, when we speak about X factor, somehow people have associated that with physical beauty or something that is attractive, which is physically attractive. And that is not the only thing which is related to X factor. So when I say that that person has an X factor, I'm talking about quality. I'm talking about something that is unique in that person. Something, as Saga mentioned, an ability which drives people, which may influence or inspire people, which may really becomes a story where people say, ah, this is something that if I have this, if I am able to do this, it would be great in my life. So I look up to that person. Now, I'm not talking about role models. Of course, they have something unique, they have some X factor, and that's why they are role models. That's why we look up to them because they have gone through certain situations in their life and they have overcome it. What important is how did they do it? What was their mindset? How did that made them so strong to go through that grind and still become that? So what is that X factor that is there? Are you passionate about something? Are you really looking forward to your life in a unique way? And that makes you a different person. That makes you that's the element that you have, and that's what we call it as X factor. And as Sagar rightly mentioned, everybody has that X factor in them. The question is, have you yet discovered it? I would put the word discovery because it's like a diamond that is there inside you, which is hidden somewhere. You need to bring that out, let the world look at the diamond in its whole glory and shining it bright. For that, when you are going through any situations in your life, are you really focusing on what you have forward, what you're looking at forward? So X factor is something to be discovered which is there inside you. Could be a quality, could be your strong a determination, or could be a very different perspective of looking at things. Like when I look at certain artists, their work is so unique and different, even though they might be like painters, they might be like artists. You may club them or categorize them into one single category, but despite of that, each artist has its unique way of looking at things, the perspective, and that unique element is the X factor that they brought in. Because when you are looking at certain things in a different way, you bring in that element, you bring in that angle, you have different factors associated with this, and that's why it's called, this is unique and this is different. These words come out from us is only because of that ability that they have, and that's what the X factor is. Now, how do we have that X factor combining in this integrated life? and how this is fitting it all together is what we are going to discuss it in next few minutes with us. Yes, Sagar.
So, Bharti, that brings me to a very, very beautiful example, but also a little controversial. So, I'm sure people love controversies and we can always give it to them and let them explore it. But I'm going to give you example of three animals, a lion, a leopard, and a cheetah. Do you have any idea when does lion do the real hunting?
Real hunting.
Yeah, I mean, not real when I say real hunting, but when does lion be active or when are lions active and they do hunting?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Most of the time, written or as said by National Geographic or by other leaders, it's basically just before sunset when the light is dim or just before the sunrise because that's the twilight hours that they hunt because the animals either come in the evening to drink water or in the night they keep wandering to fight that and take that animal. Leopard, on the other hand, also are night hunters, but you know what they do differently? They're not afraid of the lions because leopard have the capacity to take their prey up on the branches. Similarly, cheetahs, they are absolute night visioners and they have the brilliant speed of execution. So they actually can go from 0 to 16 under 3 seconds. So they actually can hunt very fast, but at the same time, the X factor that they have, speed, is also their weakness, which means they also get exhausted very fast. Now, three different animals, three different hunting styles, three different hunting patterns. Now, the controversy here is what if they all start waking up at 5 a.m. as normally people say that you should have a morning routine and wake up at 5 a.m. I'm not demeaning anyone. Robin Sharma is one of my favorite authors, and it's not that I'm trying to create that, but what I'm trying to share is all of us have a different X factor. Some of us are night owls. We might be highly productive and highly proactive during the night. Like I have completed all my engineering studies after 12 in the night till 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure most of the engineers listening it today, now, later, would agree that most of the engineers, hostel people, they all study in the night. And we are most active right before the exam when we have preparation leaves, the PLs. Rest of the time, we are all fun, happy, loving, and that's how life is. Similarly, if everybody starts setting up a morning routine and sleeps early or does that, who's going to operate in the night shift? So practically, when we talk about X factor, everyone is different, which means you listen to something, you find that you're connected to it, and if there is a strong connection and a why, you start going toward it. Just don't follow things because of a herd mentality. Find your X factor, discover your X factor, identify your X factor. What time of the day are you most active? What time of the day are you most productive? What time of the day are you most creative? Choose that time and work accordingly. Now, there could be questions that I'm productive in the night, but I'm going in the first shift or I'm working in the day shift. What do I do? Fair enough. Do something that you love during the night. Have a flexible time schedule, find a different way to cope up with that, but try and identify your X factor. So this is one time related X factor. There could be certain different X factors where people have a very strong sense of smell. Now, if that is your X factor, why don't you go into a perfume industry? Like we all know Tom Ford. That's one of the best perfumes available, one of the most expensive ones out of the many. And owning a Tom Ford, I can tell you it's worth every single penny because it stays for a long, long time. Now, he had a brilliant X factor of, connecting with the sense of smell. He was also a designer turned into a fragrance thing, and that's how you do it. Similarly, some people have an X factor of visioning or forecasting things. Now they should go and learn strategy. They should start putting themselves into business strategy, because that's what requires visioning, that's what requires forecasting. So identify what your X factor is and focus on your X factor. And I can very well say that your X factor can definitely be developed. It's a blessing. It's an ability that is, given to you as a God gift. But at the same time, it can be developed. It can be sharpened. It can be strengthened, and that is what also can lead to your passion. So that is the importance of X factor. That what X factor means to me when I talk about productivity. Hence, remember, you can either be a lion, you can be a leopard, you can be a cheetah. But if all of them hunt at the same time in the same way, waking up at 5 a.m., it will be chaos in the law of nature. The same way we all are defined by certain law of nature, where we all have certain things to do. We have night shifts to work on, we have afternoon shifts, we have day shifts. If you have a night shift to work on, you can't wake up at 5. So don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. That's not your X factor. Find something else. Discover something else. Yes, Bharti. What's your
So,
take on the controversy?
uh, I think what you mentioned is even though it may be contradicting to certain thinkings, like these are different perspectives. Like
Yeah,
you wake up at certain time and you have a routine, you have a discipline. However, this is also a fact that when I look at, because a lot of people when they come and speak to me about procrastination barriers and how to remove this, how to be proactive, they do speak about that we are productive during this time of the day. We are productive, or this is the time when we feel that okay, now we are very active. We must work. Now it is difficult to change that which is happening since years, and suddenly we ask them that okay, if you are very active after 4 p.m. and that is where your activeness starts in, no, 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 that's not how it should be. You should do it this way. Now defining all these things becomes it becomes difficult to say that okay, this is the standard way of doing this, do only this way. So I would look at it as two different school of thoughts, and definitely both of them are equally as important and equally as right. What I would ask is that, okay, this is what I want to ask all of you, right? Not to Sagar. So, if I have to say, what is the X factor that Sagar has? Why is it that people really uh, listen to Sagar, or what are the unique qualities? And it would be, sorry, it would be very interesting to look at the comments when they put that, okay, I like this quality about Sagar, I like that quality about Sagar. But this is what I would say when I look at and I work with Sagar and we are friends in so many years. I'll tell you some unique quality about Sagar. And Sagar, I'm going to open that up here. All right. So the unique ability or the quality of Sagar is he is able to draw connections. He's able to do a very fast connections between certain elements, and will help you to look certain things beyond what you can see. And that is at a very high speed. When I say it's a very high speed, it is actually very, very fast. So I remember you had taken up some assessment, Saga, and that assessment did speak about that your ability to function and also uh, have your thinking ability strong is because you can look at certain gaps. You can also identify certain good things. You can also identify certain opportunities, and you can make all these things together and say that this is what it will be if you don't do this. And I'm sure you are, as a consultant, you are using that as your uniqueness to all the business leaders and help them achieve what they really want to achieve, isn't it? You are on mute.
yes, Bharti. Thank you very much for reminding me. Yes, I took a PQ test, which was more of positive intelligence test, which was given to me by Kalpesh to do it. and it came out on two things, which was more of execution, the speed of execution, and critical thinking. So thank you for reminding me that. And yes, it does. And similarly, let me, revert it back or have a gratitude to you that you've been an amazing partner. We still have two more episodes to go, one more episode to go. We might combine the next two as well. We'll think about it. But your commitment, your ability to have compassion, your ability to show grit, your ability to be perseverant of getting things done or doing it or not giving reasons is absolutely your X factor, because I know how you're managing things on the family front. How are you managing things at your business front? You're developing teams at the business front, plus you're also going around out of India, traveling, speaking, and you're also working on the upcoming book, which I'm sure we will soon see it. And we are all excited to see that. But at the same time, your your face always has a smile, and kudos to you for that. So that makes us, uh, you know, a good pair where one has a smile, a lot of compassion, a lot of grit, perseverance, and the other one has more of critical thinking and execution. A right match for the integrated life.
Yep.
So,
So,
how can someone, sorry, yeah, go on.
so the speed of execution and critical thinking are the important factors, and hence we have the integrated life show. And of course, I combine it with a lot of my smile so that we have the best of the best show.
Absolutely, absolutely, no problem. No, I mean your perseverance is to be commended, no doubt about it. Okay, now too much of I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Let's jump back to the audience. If you are listening us, write down what is your X factor. But the question is, how will you be able to discover what is your X factor? Well, sit down, think or observe about your life where you have taken risks. I'm sure a safe risk, legitimate risk, but a calculated risk. Take notes, observe those points down, define and write down what were those risks, what made you take those risks, and what made you successful in those areas. Identify what are the areas of your interest, or what do you like to do, what do you love to do, what do you just would say yes to do. Apart from that, list down your core values and ability. Once you have done that, you will also be able to identify one single X factor. But at that time, you have to promise me and Bharti, you will be true to yourself in answering that, and you would not take that answer lightly. Once you have that answer, put it on your desk, put it on your wall, and keep observing it for next 2 3 months. See, is that the X factor that makes you different from others? Try focusing on it. And if you get the answer, we would be more than happy to know. But if you know your X factor right now, write it on the chat, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you can. If not, we have told you the steps to find the X factor. Now, these are the steps which I felt could definitely help you find X factor. I'm sure Bharti would have added points or something else which can help you to identify your X factor, because she's also an NLP coach and she's much more into psychology. So over to you, Bharti.
Yes, absolutely. This exercise really works. And I did this exercise with a couple of my clients when I asked them that what is that unique quality that you have, or why is it that somebody would listen to you? What is important for you? And they were all blank. And this exercise really helps when you list down what is it that you have inside you, what qualities, what kind of abilities. So you may start by saying, oh, I like to do painting, I can dance, I can do this. Now they might be very very simple things to pen down, but trust me, when you keep doing this, you will realize that what is there inside you. And that is important to know, because I remember, Sagar, I did this exercise with one of my friend and also my client. and he was going through certain relationship issues in his life. So the unique thing, or I would say a very interesting exercise that we did was I brought all the coins with me. Now these coins were all different coins, like 1 rupee coin, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, all different coins, and they were like all mixed up together. The old ones, the new ones, everything were mixed up together. I had some dirhams and euros also, so I mixed them also, and I gave that entire bunch of, that entire lot of coins to him, and I said, okay, these are the coins with you. Now you need to put down, say, just pull out each coin and associate that coin with the person that is important in your life, and you just place it however you want to place it. In 2 minutes he pulled out each coin and he said, this belongs to my father, so this coin represents my father, this coin represents my mother, this is my wife, this is my daughter, everything. And he put it in a very different structure, like somewhere in the line, then there was like a semicircle. That's how he placed it. And after 2 minutes I asked him, where are you here? And he said, well, he went blank. He said, I didn't realize I need to put myself. I said, this is your life. If you don't associate, if you don't have a coin for you, how are you going to look at your life? And he forgot to put himself. And that is what we're talking about, the X factor. If you don't put yourself in your life, how that is going to be integrated life for you? How are you going to bring those meaningful changes and add that sense of fulfillment, bring that happiness and have that gratitude in your heart? How are you going to do that if you don't have you in your life? And that's the unique thing. So if you have that unique quality, pull that out. It is important for you to dig deeper, pull out that diamond that you have and showcase it to the world. And that's a fantastic exercise that we did, and that was the day. And since then he started associating himself with every relationship that he has, and that was the missing factor that he was discovering with me. Yes, Sagar.
Brilliant. No, that's absolutely wonderful. And if you all are thinking that, where is all this coming from? Where are all these thoughts? And if you want to dwell more and read more about it, well, worry no more. The book, The Key, which I've written, which is also the Amazon bestseller, is available on Amazon for you to buy and read about all the elements to build a productive mindset. And very, very, very soon, we will have a wonderful book from Bharti to read about how procrastination works or what are the ways you can be proactive. And I'm sure that book will help you to understand what ways you can be proactive. So, this is me and Bharti signing off with a wonderful episode combined for Willpower and X Factor. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Yes, Bharti, over to you.
And it is always, always wonderful to have you in the talk show with everybody joining in. So, if you have any questions, anywhere that you have doubts, or you have certain things to look forward, please drop us your emails. Uh, you can email us. You can go to this website, www.theintegratedlife.co.in. Our email addresses are there. You can approach us. We are there on LinkedIn as well. You can connect us on LinkedIn and ask the questions that you may want to ask. Let's bring this integrated life together and have that sense of fulfillment, happiness, and gratitude in our life. And we'll see you in our last episode soon, next Tuesday, on this show, a Tuesday 9 p.m. with Sagar and me, having this integrated life. In fact, living this integrated life that we are living in. Yes, Sagar.
Thank you and goodbye. Okay.